Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to If I Do Say So Myself, because I do say so. And we're back again to talk about adulting things, big, you know, that scenario where you feel like you look like the role, but you actually don't feel like the role. You look like you're supposed to be doing it, but you're actually not doing it, and everybody around you thinks you're doing it. Yeah, the times where I am in that season where I feel like, yeah, I mean, yes, we're adults now, but there's some things that still feel like grown up people things. A list of things that still feel like, that's grown up people things. And I want to take I see sometimes my friends doing amazing stuff, amazing stuff. And I know, Henry, you have potential. John, you have potential. I see the potential, and you're doing great. But in my mind, I'm thinking, and that's supposed to be grown up people things. Like, why are you growing up so fast? Why are you rushing in? You know, and how are you doing it? Because I want to catch up. And don't get me wrong, I like to be I'm a very ambitious person, but I like to be graceful to myself. I like to take my time. I like to, dive in gently. But then sometimes adulting does not care about that. It wants you to go chop, get into the business, do this. People keep saying that Uganda is a very slow country compared to Kenya. Like, Kenya is very chop, and Uganda is like very paced. And maybe that's why I'm Ugandan, because there is no way I feel like things should be rushed. I feel like sometimes you need to slow down a bit and just breathe, just relax, just enjoy the moment. But one of the adult things that I want to talk about is marriage. Because you reach an age and everybody is thinking, hey, you could be ready for marriage. You should be looking at marriage. Your friends are getting married. You know, there's marriage everywhere around the corner. Someone is going to mention it. Oh my God, I'm so lucky. I'm so happy. I don't think it's a lucky thing, but I'm so happy that I've not yet reached the point where people are starting to ask, why are you not yet married? They're still in the phase of, are you married? But they're not like, why are you not yet married? So I recently got out and I'm hanging out with this person, a gentleman. So we're talking. He's making his agenda known, and I'm a very polite girl. I'm a very good listener, so I'm gonna sit there and listen. So I'm listening. He's chatting, and all is fine. I'm okay listening. I mean, I'm gonna say no, but I'm okay listening. I'm okay being polite. I'm okay just allowing you to say what's on your chest. So he talks until he gets to a point and he says, "Are you married?" In my head, I'm like, What do you mean, sir? What do you actually mean? Because the whole time we were good, but those are grown up people things. I'm still growing up. I'm still sprouting. What do you mean you're asking me if I'm married? But it wasn't even his problem. It wasn't on him. In my head, I just assumed that some of these adulting things are supposed to wait. Like, they should not be rushed into. And for me, marriage is really one of those strong things. I mean, one of the things that I would also say I'm lucky for is I don't get a lot of people asking me, are you married? That's why I feel like when he asked, I was like, sir, what are you saying? What do you mean? Why are you asking me these grown-up people things? But I feel like because life is such a transition, every stage of life, there will be an expectation. There'll be, a certain kind of outcome expected from a stage of life. You go to school and normally people say, oh, the American dream. And I keep asking people, what is the Ugandan dream? Because I don't actually understand what the Ugandan, do we even have one to start with? I feel like we don't have a proper Ugandan dream, because in Uganda, you're going to go to school. After school, you're going to graduate, get a job, and then get married. It feels like every stage of life is supposed to lead to another. But if we're being realistic, that's not how things work. That's not how life works. Life is not just waiting for you to finish school, give you a job, give you a husband. Like, that's why you'll find that you've graduated 2 years down the road, you're still trying to find a job that fits the career that you studied, or you've completely shifted into something that doesn't even have anything to do with, school and whatnot. And that's why for me, I still feel like, yes, you're talking about marriage and you're saying all these things, but my list doesn't allow me to just transition. I still need to do this. And it's okay if marriage comes in, but Why are you asking? I'm still a child. But that's not even the crazy part about it. Have you seen the amount of men who are cheating out here? Men are out here just cheating like it's no man's business. And people keep saying, oh, you cannot be expecting a man to be faithful if you're in Kampala. Why not? Because for me, it does not make sense. If you've decided to commit yourself to somebody, why is it hard to, fully commit to it? It doesn't make sense. That's why I feel like marriage is not something I'm ready to rush into, because I'm still a young girl. And I feel like it is something that you transition into, you get ready for, you prepare for, you commit yourself into. And if you're not ready for that commitment, why are you actually getting into the commitment in the first place? So that's why I think marriage, but the number of men that are cheating out here, it's scary. You find a grown man, a married man, evidently married, probably even wearing a ring, still trying to ask you out, and you're like, why, sir? Why? Because you're married, and clearly some of them think they're slick by taking off the ring, keeping it away, showing up without the ring. But we can tell. We can tell you're a married man. So, sir, go be with your wife. Go take care of your wife. Go show her love. Go be nice to her, because no. The reason you got married should be commitment. Even if it's not the reason why you got married, but marriage is a commitment. So why are you actually not fully committing to it? But what is even scarier is, as for you, you're thinking of getting married, you look at what's happening out here, how people are cheating, and you're like, personally, I want to commit and give in fully, but do I have to be worrying about that? And people will say, there are actually good men out here, and I don't disagree, there are good men out here. But how do you know which one is a good one? Because you're gonna think, let me find a church boy, someone who loves the Lord, someone who is Jesus centered. Because Jesus was a good man, he taught us good stuff. You're gonna find a good man who is gonna love you, only to find out the whole time this church brother, it's literally the devil's roommate. Because why are you cheating? Why are you running around as the choir leader? It doesn't make sense. But then you're like, still, there are good men out here. We can find something, right? And then you decide, no, it's okay, I will settle with Yasin, because he loves Allah and Muhammad, and he reads the Quran. He might be doing things differently, only to find out that Yasin thinks because the Quran allows you to marry 4 women, it's okay to have 5 girlfriends and random girls all over the place, which for me I don't think is okay. But the struggle continues. You think, we're still gonna find the right man, we're gonna find that faithful man. You keep looking, you keep being nice, and things don't make sense. For me, I feel like recently, based on what's been happening to celebrities, like female celebrities, I've not had so many stories about male celebrities being cheated on. Maybe they don't say it, or maybe they're the ones cheating, or they're ashamed to express it. But we've seen, like, Beyonce has been cheated on. We know it. Cardi B has taken a shot. Recently, Megan Thee Stallion was cheated on, and these stories keep coming out. And you think to yourself, if that's where I'm heading, how is it gonna be like? Is the cheating gonna stop? Is the cheating, you guess? But anyways, we're gonna keep talking about that after the break. So we're gonna go for a short break and come back and talk about cheating, and if marriage is adult people things or it's for everybody.
Brand new 100% African-owned company, established in 2026. Our mission is to deliver trusted transport, logistics, and real-time digital tracking solutions. Unix Logistics, we are here for you.
Hey guys, welcome back from that break. Now, this entire show is fully sponsored by Unix Logistics, and they do transportation of cargo. So if you around East Africa, with the exception of Tanzania and Burundi, so if you have cargo in large numbers to transport, Unix is the right place to go. We have an app coming out that will help you track your goods, and you'll be easily able to know where it is, at what point it's at, and if it is reaching on time. So make sure you look out for Unix, and let us be at service to you. So now that we're back, I'm gonna tell you guys a story. So recently, I was watching one of those family shows where they bring like people to court and whatnot, And it was interesting for me because you see how I was telling you that you may think, like, there's still good men. Let me find one in church. Well, let me look around, because clearly there should be a good man out there, faithful man, someone who is gonna commit to the marriage and not run around. I mean, Kampala can still be hopeful for good men and faithful men and all of that, because clearly you can't be having your heart broken if Beyonce was cheated on, and then there is you who is basically just taking one day at a time. You're probably even done using your salary in the first week of receiving the salary. Now you're just saying, let me survive one day at a time. And then Okello decides to cheat on you. What are you going to do? Because if you say that, northern men are faithful, but these days, that's very debatable, because we've had so much interaction with different cultures. We've had people intermarry. We have all this freedom of movement. So cultures are being, intertwined, and you cannot really think Okello is going to be faithful. After Okello has been in Kampala his entire life, he has never even been to Gulu. What do you expect? He doesn't know nothing about being faithful or traditional. And don't even get me started on the traditional men, because I'm sure our ancestors will be like, you people have twisted things like this. Because I hear traditional men parading, African culture, we are supposed to be polygamous. And yes, sir, we understand, but do you actually understand the culture, or you're using this as an excuse to be a cheat and to just have a bunch of women that you probably can't take care of? Anyways, the story is, so they bring these guys to the court, a pastor and a deacon. So the deacon brings the pastor to church. So the deacon is the one bringing the pastor to church, and the deacon says that his wife was having an affair with the pastor. And that's not even the worst part of the story, because this deacon was having marital issues with his wife. So he decides, since, I serve in church, my pastor is an amazing man, how about we take the conversation to him, let him counsel us, let him give us marriage counseling advice, so we can fix our relationship, so that God can be at the center, the man of God. I mean, we have all the reverence for our pastors, right? So it comes to the pastor, they start the counseling session after session. After a few sessions, the pastor is like, you know what? We now have to have separate sessions. You're going to have a separate session. Your wife is going to have a separate session with me. So the wife would go in, have the session with the pastor and also him. Then it reached a time where things were not making sense to the deacon anymore. And he didn't question, because he really had no doubts with this pastor. Until this one time, the wife tells him she's traveling to go visit her sister who lived in a different state. So now the husband was like, yeah, that's okay, that's fine. And then during the same time, the pastor had also traveled, which wasn't really suspicious until the receipt for, the church receipts, the account books and what was brought. And the same place the wife was staying at, the bills had been charged to this man, to the deacon, through the pastor. So now it's not making sense. Why is the pastor involved in the same place my wife is involved? Things start being fishy. Now church has very nosy people. It has very many gossip. So this lady who was their counsel lady tells him, you know what? She spills the tea that, the pastor is actually having an affair with your wife. And this man was alarmed. So when they came back, the man is like, I can't do this, because why is the pastor having an affair with my wife? I came to you for marriage counseling. And now they're in court, chaos is happening. And guess what? The pastor is not even apologizing. He's not sorry. He's not remorseful. He's just there like, yeah, I did it. It's just there like, yes, I did it. And that wasn't even the craziest part. The craziest part was the accountant was also having an affair with the pastor at the same time the pastor was having an affair with the deacon's wife. Now for her, the accountant out of jealousy, trying to end the pastor's relationship with the deacon's wife, she spills the tea and tells the deacon that your wife is actually having an affair with the pastor. And the pastor lied to the accountant that, you know what? Nothing, this is going to be for a short time. I'm going to marry you. I'd promised her all these amazing things. So she's like, why are you having an affair then? Because you had promised me that we're going to get married. And guess what? The pastor was not remorseful. The man was just there looking at everyone in court like, yeah, so I did it. you guys were having a bad relationship already. And either way, that does not justify what you did. But for a pastor to be giving such an example is really crazy, because imagine the man of God that you respect and love very much doing that. Your level of trust can never be rebuilt. It can never be taken back. But also now imagine your young self, yeah? You're still an adult trying to adult. And then you have to go through all of these guys. Tell me that's not grown up people things, because in your young self, how are you supposed to deal with all of those emotions, then keep your job, and then still believe in the Lord, and still love your wife, and still be faithful? You get, it's a lot of chaos. So for me, I feel, yeah, marriage is a very big responsibility that people should actually just embrace. But if you're not ready for it, why are you rushing into it? If you're not grown enough, if you're not an adult enough, leave that for the grown-ups. Leave that for the adults. I clearly keep thinking that sometimes people get into marriage out of excitement or out of peer pressure. But I've told you guys before, me, peer pressure doesn't get to me. So me, I think a lot of people are irresponsible in marriages because they think they've reached a stage where they're grown, they've adulted enough, and they need to transition to that stage of life. But life does not work like that. But like I said, I'm a nice girl, I'm a nice person, I'm a good listener, and I'm thinking maybe just for once, let's allow the people who cheat to give a defense, to let us know, why are you cheating? Explain themselves, tell us what reasons are there for you to cheat. Because I'm like, if you committed to this, if you gave yourself to this, what could be so important? And I don't mean scenarios, because of course the Bible gives an option of you being involved with someone else, probably if your wife cannot conceive, or you get that, those things that maybe even divorce, like whatever, that is allowed. But you cannot be in a relationship, you're fully committed, and still cheating. But the problem is, how do you know? That's my question. I asked a friend of mine who recently got married. I'm like, how did you know he's the one? Like, how did you decide that finally this is the one? And we asked the man as well, how did you know she's the one? And honestly, people keep saying the same thing. You just know. No, you don't. No, you don't. There should be some level of guarantee, some level of assurance, some level of, yeah, I feel something about this, or it does this for me, or it makes me feel like there should be some level of assurance to why you knew they were the one. But you can never know if they're gonna cheat or not. You can, like, you literally can't know. So yeah, until you are fully adulted, until you're fully ready to commit without the assurance of are they gonna cheat or not, and without having to constantly think about it, I think you're not an adult enough. But we said we're gonna give people who cheat a chance to let us know. So I'm gonna try and listen to some of the things that would be excusable for you to cheat, right? Okay, number one, nothing. Like literally nothing. There's nothing that you can say or do that would make cheating on your partner excusable. If you just don't want them anymore, it's okay to, amicably just talk about it and go on, move on with your life. But you cannot be excusing cheating. I feel like it's lazy behavior. I feel like it's bad manners. I feel like it's very inconsiderate. The moment you're cheating, you don't love your partner. You cannot say, oh, I love them so much and I didn't want to hurt them. The fact that you're cheating is already hurting them indirectly. And by the time it comes out, I've had people say, oh, you can cheat but don't get caught. That's even worse. Because what do you mean? You're literally the devil's advocate. You're just out here lying for free. And then you go back to your wife and act like nothing has happened. Come on, make that make sense. That's why I feel like, yeah, there's still so many things that definitely are grown-up people things, because lying like that with no shame can only be when you have reached your point of lying. Like there's that adult level that you reach and you can lie, and I think that's when it qualifies to be okay, because there is no way you're convincing me you love someone but you still cheat on them. People keep saying that, oh, friendship breakups are so painful. Friendship breakups are so painful. That's another adulting thing. So imagine you're dealing with a friendship breakup, a terrible, friendship encounter, and then your man is cheating on you, and then like it's literally a lot. So yeah, personally I think I still need grace to grow, but I also think that there's nothing that can make cheating excusable. But does it mean we're gonna find love and we're gonna find good men? Yeah. Yeah, because I'm such a strong believer in love, but I just can't wrap my head around how you can love someone so much and still be able to cheat on them and still be able to lie to them. And I don't mean like small lies, like white lies. A lie is a lie, but also the gravity of it says so much about how considerate you are to the person, how you love them, how you care about them, how you think about them, because respect. I'm not even married, but I feel like I'm supposed to be giving marriage advice, because why don't you respect your wife or your husband enough not to cheat on them, or enough to just tell them, you know what, this is not working for me anymore, I need to get out of this, or just be honest, because at the end of the day there will be someone who is prettier than your wife, who is more handsome than your husband, who has more money, who has, who is more established, and you're gonna look at them and think, maybe I married the wrong one. But your intention, your commitment to your partner, your love should make some sense. So for me, I feel like, yeah, as a young girl who is still sprouting, you're still trying to work on your summer body, you're trying to have a good time, you're trying to make money, you're trying to meet amazing people, you're trying to connect, travel the world or whatever. But now you have to deal with a cheating partner and you're hurting in a relationship. I'm sorry, no. That's a little bit adulting, and I don't think anybody deserves to go through that. So if you're a cheat or cheating or planning to cheat, please don't do it, because that's just evil business. Like literally, it's just evil business. There's no excuse for you to cheat. Also, like people keep saying friendship, like there's cheating in friendship. I don't know really, because for me that doesn't make sense, but apparently there is. People are out here cheating in their friendships, but I'm told that only applies to people that are besties, which I feel like is such a clingy behavior, because yeah, you're my bestie, but you can have other friends, you can hang out with other friends. The only times that I think that it qualifies as cheating in a friendship is when we have a shared interest, something that only you and I put together, only you and I came up with, something that very significantly applies to, identifies our connection, our relationship. For example, we find a sport that probably we do like a bi-weekly meetup, or like a weekly meetup, or a monthly meetup, and this is just our safe space or our corner as friends. And this is just what we always do. It's just for the two of us. And then months, weeks, years down the road, you're now sharing that space with someone else. Yeah, that's cheating for sure. That's cheating. Another thing that I think really counts as cheating in friendship, really, would be lying to your friend because you want to hang out with another friend. That doesn't make sense. I mean, if we're cool like that, why are you lying? Why are you telling lies? Why are you hiding things? Something is not right. Something is shady, and that needs to be handled. And like I said, we're gonna talk about it. If we are friends, you can be avoidant, you can need time, space to think, you can take a break, whatever. But at the end of the day, we are going to talk about it, because this life thing doesn't make sense if you actually don't have partners. But it's even worse when you don't have good partners, when you have people that are cheating, when you feel like you're not ready to be in a space. So adulting is a lot of work, but adulting also has layers. You have to be ready for it, and once you're ready for it, you're not cheating, you're not running around, you're not hurting your partner, you're not loving them wrong, you're not disrespecting them. So yeah, as adults, as people who are adulting, as people who are growing, let's be nice to ourselves, let's be nice to our friends, our partners, and yeah, let's keep hopeful that good men and women are still out there. But in other words, it has been me, Fancy Tao, as your host, and you have been listening to If I Do Say So Myself, because I do say so myself, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Ciao. Okay.